no radio at all. Not even with the bombing plane that's coming over. All radio is dead.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
We're going to make you one of the rising up.
Welcome back to Horror of the Worlds, where we talk about movies and how they've been influenced. I'm Curtis Gerhardt.
I'm Stephen Miller.
And today's subject is... Wait, is that someone? Thought I just saw someone back there. Their problem. Must have dove behind the bushes or wall that you're behind. But we were talking about stalkers and stuff. So it's not really... I wouldn't really want to say that they're a... genre specific.
No, I mean there are some movies that hit that specific thing, but overall I feel like
where like their theme is stalking. That's the whole.
It's what all of it
purpose is. Not so much like not like Jason Voorhees or Pamela Voorhees, I should say, or Michael Myers. Like where it's like they're stalking. But I really would never really consider it a stalking movie.
No, that there's definitely a slasher genre for that, but you wouldn't consider it stalking.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone says, like, hey, you want to watch a movie about stalkers? I'm not going to say, hey, you should go watch like Halloween.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be like possibly like Hush.
Yeah.
Granted, you can't find it anywhere, but that or, one of the ones that kind of actually started making stalkers kind of a big thing, and a movie that was pretty influential, more influential than we actually know and realize, is Cat People from 1942.
Across the centuries comes this exciting story of a modern girl cursed by an ancient legend. The legend of the Cat People. Women whose kiss means death, whose love turns them into vicious, snarling beasts of prey.
1942, directed by Jacques Tourneur. I butchered that last name, but you will see it on the screen here because editing. All right, so quick synopsis of Cat People, the original, not the 1980s version of it. Irene Dubrovna, a New York City-based fashion designer who hails from Serbia, begins a romance with a marine engineer, Oliver Reed. After the couple gets married, Oliver becomes concerned about Irene's notion that she is cursed and may transform into a large cat in the heat of passion. Confiding in his beautiful assistant, Alice Moore, about his marital issues, Oliver unwittingly triggers Irene's curse with tragic results.
Just off the synopsis, I thought it was going to be like a werewolf kind of movie with a little bit more of a slasher vibe going on, but I felt like this had more of the giallo vibe almost kind of set up with, I don't know, the way it was shot. The darkness,
definitely did
creeper vibe going on.
Almost that noir feeling, like when you kind of see that like Sin City type stuff. I mean, I guess the comparative aspects of that is black and white, but it had that good old timey 40s characters.
Right.
This movie is pretty interesting, especially with that. I mean, it has a whole. There is supposedly a undertone of she might be a lesbian as well, where she's actually not interested in men when she actually gets pursued from him, but she's, of the times, men are supposed to marry women, women are supposed to marry men. You're not supposed to find the other gender or the other sex intriguing or fetishize them or fantasize about them. I guess of the time. But so one of the things, like, this movie isn't 100% stalker, but it actually, one of the scenes helped create that stalking vibe where you didn't know what was coming. And Val Lewton, the one that directed or wrote this movie, he supposedly had a fear of cats, which is one of the reasons why he did this.
That's interesting.
And supposedly Irene's character is loosely based off of him in the sense of he also had supposedly with what I've heard, a issue with being touched.
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff, like almost not so much like a germaphobe, but kind of almost the same issue that I have is like handshakes, hugs, like just like like I don't mind it, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, if you ever meet me out in public, don't feel free to. I'll shake a hand, fist bump, whatever we feel comfortable with at that moment. I don't mind getting stopped. Once we get famous, hopefully. But the scene I'm talking about is you have I'm sorry, what's her name? Alice Moore's character. She's walking down a alleyway, like a street, and she just hears walking behind her, and she turns around. No one's there. Keeps on walking. The music picks up, and you're expecting someone to be right behind her, ready to grab and snatch her, but nothing happens. That you're just waiting, and then all of a sudden, a bus comes up with that screech and the halt, and that created a jump scare.
Yeah.
This is arguably, not so much arguably, this is one of the first movies that actually started jump scares.
Yeah, I feel like as far as most horror movies go, this one is definitely different from the rest, right? Like, it does not have your typical transformation horror scene. It's got some jump scares and stuff like that, but this is like strictly story built. It's not practical effects galore.
Story and
like
feeling and emotions.
Yeah.
There's no transformations. There are just more a psychological thriller more than a horror, even though it is. And it is labeled as a horror movie.
Right, 100%.
But so you have Val Lewton was very good at creating suspense when it comes to music and tones and camera shots, where he actually started. I can't remember if it was him or they coined a term called the Lewton bus, and stuff. So that was the whole it almost became a joke on with the jump scare. I was like, oh, all right, something's gonna happen, and then nothing really gets happen. Nothing happens. There's no scares or whatever. Because like with this movie, the two scares that you expect something is that scene that we just talked about, and then Alice jumping into a pool, and you see shadows, and you expect a panther, or something kind of jumping out, or a killer, something, and she's just screaming in a pool all by herself.
Yeah, right.
So there's no payoff. It is almost boring in ways.
Right. The delivery in this one was way different.
So there are scenes where, like I said, more the emotional context where you have Irene playing and actually getting joy out of unfortunately killing a canary and stuff, where she ends up becoming enthralled by the chase of trying to get the bird that's in the cage.
Stalking like a cat.
With this movie, this is one of RKO's attempts to recoup a loss on Citizen Kane as well. Just a random tidbit of info. I mean, I think Citizen Kane is highly revered nowadays. I'm not too sure if we said it on our previous episode with the Thing from Another World. That was also another RKO film as well. So they were making quite a bit of, pretty damn good films at this time.
There's always something to outshine the rest. You got competition, mad competition with horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
There's somebody ruling the world. Like, Saw's done it forever. Feels like everybody's still waiting on that next Saw movie to come out.
And that's the thing. We all kind of notice the same thing, but then eventually they actually come out and they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, right.
The last Xmas one was fucking amazing. Well, I mean, Saw X. Flip that upside down. It's an Xmas movie.
Yeah.
It says Xmas. Try it. Also, another completely random thing, because they go in a pet store, which they return a kitten because the cat's fucking freaked out from her. Were there always monkeys at pet stores back then? Because watching this movie and watching birds, and I'm kind of curious if it was kind of common. I'm pretty sure it probably depends on the state, but I mean, all these.
It's not something that I feel like that's not something normal here, but
yeah, I know. I'm kind of curious if it's just a sign of the time.
Maybe
sign of the time. But another movie that I really, really enjoy is Peeping Tom.
Look out! Take care.
You are being watched. We repeat, take care, for you are now alone with a killer. We warn you, don't let him see the fear in your eyes. For this is what he seeks, and this is why he kills.
Where are you? Where are you?
From 1960, directed by Micheal Powell. This movie is one that I feel like everyone should watch. A quick synopsis. Loner Mark Lewis works at a film studio during the day and at night takes racy photographs of women. Also, he's making a documentary on fear, which involves recording the reactions of victims as he murders them. He befriends Helen, the daughter of the family living in the apartment below his, and he tells her vaguely about the movie he is making. She sneaks into Mark's apartment to watch it and is horrified by what she sees, especially when Mark catches her.
Ah, see, that sounds creepy. Motherfuckers making snuff films.
Hey, that's it. This movie is really creepy. It has a great feeling, a great vibe to it. Like it almost kind of, I guess it would be more of a flat than an apartment because he grew up in this house, so he knows his house in and out. It's not like a trickery on like Psycho, like a Norman Bates type of thing.
Right.
But like that incites some of the feelings and emotions that you actually see in him, which is quite rare because he has more of a sociopath tendency, just based off of just not really being able to feel feelings. He has more of an anxiety if he doesn't have his camera on him. He has anxiety, much like we do nowadays. If we don't have our cell phone on us and we're out and about, we freak the fuck out.
Like, oh shit, where's my communication?
Yeah, like, oh, what if I get in a car accident? Who am I going to call? I'm like, kind of fucked. I mean, people in the 40s didn't have phones on them all the damn time.
Right.
We're here. Yeah, now, if you actually really enjoy Alfred Hitchcock movies, if you watch Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho, this movie is that movie. If you enjoy those movies, on top of if you want to see possibly the grandfather of slasher films, I also want to say found footage films.
I love a good found footage film. That's something that had to grow on me though.
Dude, even first person like angles.
Oh yeah,
this movie
God, yeah.
is like the godfather of a lot of big tropes, big genres, big camera angles that we do nowadays.
Right.
Like because you are viewing the murders through his lens, because he's just romancing the woman for a little bit, just trying to get that almost that peaceful into inciting fear, make them scared.
Right.
So he actually uses a knife at the end of the leg of the camera that he's using. It's have to actually go in for the kill, and it's kind of awesome in a,
that does
way.
sound good. Yeah.
But that kind of shows you, like, if you remember the opening scene on Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, you have the view from the kid. That whole angle, like you're watching him go throughout the house and all that stuff. Even Black Christmas stuff. So
I like first-person angles like that. That's probably why I like that one scene in Doom.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like,
perfect. Like, these are the things that. Oh yeah, the Dwayne Johnson's.
Yeah.
The Rock's Doom.
Yeah.
That movie was a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the first-person shooter part, I don't know. It tied into the game and made it really cool, but. Overall, having action scenes or just a good angle like they did in Halloween, that was, I don't know, I feel like that's something that they definitely thrive on with some of these stalker movies is I'm creeping up on you, like how close he actually gets. And then when she turns around, no longer there.
Yeah, it helps incite that fear a little bit. The whole feeling uncomfortable where we should be feeling comfortable, feeling safe. It is creepy. I mean, it does happen predominantly to women, which I think almost all the movies that we're talking about happen to women.
Except for one. And then in the second one, they ended up making the woman the victim.
I haven't not seen the second one yet. Oh, man, you're going to have to wait till the end of this episode or near the end of this episode. But, yeah, so this movie, again, like with the whole slashers, because he's not really going out for a revenge on killing. He has childhood trauma when his dad was actually recording him, scaring him. Like he puts a lizard in his son's bed just to get fright out of him.
Freak out of him. Yeah.
It is quite amazing. Again, with the found footage. I'm saying found footage because he is recording all this stuff. He's making a documentary that he's saying. So, there are...
That's another thing that seems to go hand in hand with some of these stalker films is that found footage aspect. Like, I've been watching you for this long.
Like, I felt like the movie that we were talking about and talking about again right now is influenced off of this movie on him just trying to replicate and keep, the kills that he's taken care of. So something completely random. There are some of these, I love certain wipes when it comes to film, transitions. Like there's one where they're pouring tea and then transitions to them pouring a bottle of liquor. I think it's like Red Label or something like that. And they're doing it again from someone's pouring a shot and then he's pouring photo flow. It's just those weird, stupid things. There's also one that I think was really clever is when he's actually climbing down the ladder in the film studio is then all of a sudden the mom is crocheting and it looks really close to the actual ladder and all that stuff. So it was really, really well filmed. It's just those stupid little things that I actually really enjoy. So a lot of stalking is voyeurism. It is a sense of stalking and just watching and not getting caught, or even the thought of getting caught, inside, like, entices you and all that stuff. So that was his whole thing. Like, he enjoyed actually watching other people, like, during their most intimate moments. And then he also enjoyed people actually getting angry at him. Like, he enjoyed that fear, that enticement.
Right.
But there's actually a term for people that actually get off on fear, like that actually that is aroused by the feeling of fear and like not so much their body. So it's not think of it as I can't even say like a porn magazine because you're still getting off on the body, but it's just more of the image
it's like,
instead of
like
the
if you're falling out of a plane and you're freaked out, it's a fear boner. You're sexually excited over being terrified.
Like more so being turned on by attraction of a woman compared to the actual thought or being attracted to a gender, but not the actual sexual intercourse of it. But you're getting off on the fear. It is scopophilia or even a scoptophilia as well. I think there's like two different words for the same thing. It's just how it's derived from. I think it's from Latin or what have you. So you might have learned a new word, scopophilia. Or scoptophilia. So this movie really does kind of tie into with the whole stalker killer into another movie that is strictly based off of stalking and stuff. So the other ones were, kind of a little bit forefathers of the whole genre. Is Maniac, from 1980.
Maniac.
That's lovely.
You can lock your doors, but you can't lock the madman out of your mind.
Directed by Bill Lustig.
Maniac was fucking great. I felt like by the end of that, I was going crazy. I love it when a movie does that. It plays with your head a little bit. And the guy that was in there, he's a creepy son of a bitch.
Oh man, Joe Spinell is amazing. He's an amazing actor. Like he plays this grimy, gritty character so amazingly well, and I've heard nothing but great things about him in his personal life. Like he is the life of the party.
People enjoy working with that guy for sure.
But he plays that creep so incredibly well.
He's got the look. It's the scraggly hair. The big dude with scraggly hair and that dead look in his eyes that he nails throughout the film.
Also, like that acne, like the pitted cheeks and all that stuff too. Like he looks like a killer. Like he looks like if someone said like, "Oh yeah, he was in the mafia," you'd be like,
all right. Like in the 80s, you'd probably dropped off your car to have this guy work on it kind of look. You know what I mean?
It's not the maniac; it's a mechanic. All right, quick synopsis. A traumatic childhood leads to a deranged mama's boy on a gruesome killing spree on the streets of New York City.
Mama's boy nailed it. Yeah, 100%.
Which he did have that is really it. Like, he was kind of a mama's boy. There's another fucking word I want to use for it, but I can't come up with it.
Watching this, I got some Texas Chainsaw vibes with the gathering of the body parts and making his own cuddle doll at home, which was really fucking weird. This guy literally did nothing but cuddle that fucking doll and talk to it, and yeah, this guy was a psychopath. It felt like, not a sociopath.
Oh, he 100% a psychopath, I would want to say. I mean, this movie starts off so. I'm going to be jumping all over the damn place with this. Movie starts off with him being like point of view again.
Yeah.
You know, it's a mass killer. You don't know who the killer is just yet. Stalking and watching this couple like sleep on a beach. You know, one of them goes off to gather wet wood for a fire.
Yeah.
Whatever. And they both end up getting murdered. So that really kind of plays upon giallo. You know, so I mean, in the 80s, America started doing a lot of its influences off of the 60s and 70s giallo movies from Italy. So that's the thing. The giallo movies and the books are stalker based. You know, it's a whodunit. You know, the mystery or someone's coming across and fucking murdering you.
Yeah. At the same time, it didn't come across as a whodunit kind of thing. It's more like you're following him around and watching him do his work.
And that's the thing. You do
in the mind of the killer. You
do know that it's him that's killing afterwards. Like, I mean, that's the only whodunit moment is like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Until you realize, like, oh, he has issues.
Yeah, and a method on how he does this. He clearly has done this more than once.
Supposedly killing for his mom or to make his mom proud. It always almost kind of reminds me of Carrie and like Stephen King's Carrie and Adam Sandler's joke that he does based off of Carrie. He's like, they're all gonna laugh
at you.
And that's like, he hates killing. Like, killing makes him sick. It makes him like, I think he almost vomits during one of the times.
Yeah.
Like, he is repulsed by killing, but it's impulsive. You know, he just can't help it in a way. Like almost another person's taken over and making him kill.
Right.
And there's another thing too. I think it's in Germany. Like Germany's copy for the last horror film is Maniac 2. So that is.
I haven't seen Maniac 2. It's the next film, I believe, that the second one.
Well,
but this one was definitely all women. It felt like he had it was the prostitutes, and what baffled me was this guy was so creepy. Like, even as a hard up for money prostitute, like, it felt like they should have been more wary. But they were all like, "Come on, big spender."
It's the 1980s,
yeah,
and
right.
It's Bill Lustig as well. Like, he was very Bill Lustig and Frank Henenlotter were amazing directors when they how they filmed New York, because that's how I imagine New York style.
You got a big vibe for New York through
that
the whole
grimy,
thing.
dirty, gritty sex shops, like
This
3
is
stores from each
unfiltered
other.
New York, yeah. And I heard I can't remember where I heard it, but a lot of the female actresses in this were porn stars or something like that as well. Like, I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised, because I feel like a lot of the movies are ladies of the night.
yeah.
You know, I'll say that because I don't know if they're strippers, sex workers.
They gotta make that money.
But a lot of times that's what horror movies were back in the 80s as well, where they hired, like, you know, someone that did porn. Like, hey, you don't mind showing your tits on...
When all of them had a storyline.
The storyline was, we need tits and blood.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, going off the spiritual successor, like, calling it Maniac 2 is also called, in all the other countries, a Fanatic. And stuff. So that movie is... Like, this, as much as a movie, this is a stalker based film. The other one is like, he is stalking the actress of the last horror film and stuff. So it's almost the same character that he plays.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Maniac, and I highly recommend Fanatic / the last horror film. Both of them should be streaming almost anywhere. It's, if you like grimy New York, if you like that, you know, that classic film stock kind of footage look.
Yeah.
It is amazing. On top of, we didn't even say it, Tom Savini doing Maniac.
Yeah, absolutely.
He actually acts in it too for a small part.
He blows off his own fucking head. It was great. There's nothing like making a model of yourself just to destroy it. That had to be fun.
Yeah. Dude, I remember them saying, like, I think I heard it like on the last drive-in, is like how they ended up making the blood and all that stuff. They just grabbed stuff from the table, the food table there, that had shrimp and cocktail sauce and all this stuff, and put it in the head. Blew it up a couple times, and they dumped the car off like in a river or something like that.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's like, that's old school good guerrilla filming.
And they weren't allowed to shoot any of that. Like,
I think it was an actual shotgun too.
Gunshot goes off. Fucking leave. We got the film.
We got it.
Button
Go.
up and go. Yeah.
I think that's why I like some of the classic like guerrilla style shooting, where it's like, all right, get out of the car, film the scene, get the fuck out. Which they also did for Maniac too. Like when they went to I think it's the Cannes, the CANNES festival. One of the girls, like, she was running out pretty much naked, if I remember correctly, or just a towel on, and they're filming her just running and doing this scene. So everyone's reaction there is quite real.
Yeah.
It's I miss guerrilla footage. So we jump in the future a little bit, about 20 years. Is 1 hour photo.
Can I check out the toys?
Just for a minute, I'm just dropping off some film. You've been doing our pictures for a long time.
I almost feel like Uncle Si.
Coming out in 2002, written and directed by Mark Romanek. Oh man, this movie is.
So I watched it because of it having one of my favorite comedians in it, and to see it be something I've never seen him portray himself as before that's what made the whole movie alerting to me, is Robin Williams acting like a fucking lunatic, and there's not a moment where you're laughing.
Well, that's the thing, like, when it comes to like his serious movies, like I never really watched any of his serious movies until I got older. So Robin Williams was a lot like Bill Saget when I was a child. These good-natured, family-valued people.
Yeah, he would tell you at the beginning of his stand-up, like, this is not a place for your children. You want a full house, get the fuck out.
That's it. You watch these people live, like their actual comedy. At least Bill Saget, he has the shock humor. Man, these people, man, God rest their souls. Like they're amazing actors. They're amazing performances on stand-up. I personally love their humor. I love that dark, fucked up shit. Robin Williams was extremely animated. He is the like perfect example of what actual like depression can be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just because you're happy on the outside, you're showing off this love and this life that you have. You think everyone sees that thinks that you have it all, but you're dying on the inside. Like, it's just,
which made this movie feel like it must have been torture for him, because it felt like he did comedy because he wanted to see other people experience happiness. Mm-hmm. So him, enjoying watching other people laugh and then making this one, like the one scene where he's having the mental breakdown and his eyes started bleeding, like I was like, what the fuck, like it freaked me the fuck out a little bit. And then I don't know, I always saw him as like, the TV dad, right? Because watching Mrs. Doubtfire, you're like, that's my kind of fucking dude right there. And then this,
you get
stark contrast,
like I said, serious roles, and he is good at it. Like, he's
really good.
So a quick synopsis.
Knows what pain is.
The synopsis of the movie is Cy Parrish, which he must be related to the same Parrish in Jumanji. I mean, I'm guessing. So I guess when he was lost in Jumanji, his twin was out here making photos. So Cy Parrish runs an 1 hour photo developing lab in a small mall. He's a perfectionist about his work and generous to his regular customers, including typical family headed by Will Yorkin. Over the years, he's seen their family grow from their photographs, but when he sees evidence of Yorkin being unfaithful, coupled with the threat to his position, his already precious mental state tips over the edge. I don't really care for that. Actually, that is a great synopsis, because if you're going into this movie reading that and then actually watching this movie, it's like that synopsis was shit. This movie is fucking amazing. I love the actual little bit of twists and turns that it does take.
I'm surprised that this is more along, when you find this movie in particular, you're going to definitely find it more in the drama section than horror. But after you watch it, you totally get the horror vibe and why it would be in that genre.
Like, that's the thing. I would not be upset if someone said this was not a horror movie.
Right.
But at the same time, though, I would be happy if someone said this was a horror movie just as much as Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Like, this is a thriller of a movie. I mean, it is more of a thriller, psychological thriller than horror. But it is, again, we're talking about stalkers. So,
the whole time you couldn't help but feel bad for the guy. And at the same time, you're like, there's nothing he's doing that is right.
Yeah. I mean,
it is one big walking red fucking flag, man.
There is so much that he actually does, is what a lot of people do nowadays in our own home. So one of the things that he always talks about is how people always try to remember, they take photographs of their happy moments, the moments that they want to remember. They're freezing time in that instance. But you never see people, like, he never sees photos of moments that people want to forget. You know, the bad memories, the things that you don't want to see again. That's what Instagram and Twitter and all this stuff is. Like, people are taking photos of their great moments, and we think that they live these precious, amazing lives. A lot of them don't.
No, it's more like they're trying to drown out the bad.
Yeah, and then they hate that they put on this persona that they have a great life, and it's like, it's not that great. And it's like, well, show us it's not great.
Right.
Be human.
Be human.
Show us that you work a 40-hour job that you fucking hate, but you post a picture that you were in Italy the other day.
Yeah, right. It's hard to see the negative there, man.
But like, one of the things, like, there was when he was actually watching TV, and there was an episode of The Simpsons when Bart was getting stalked by Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, it was just some of these little nuances are like, oh, okay. So it is almost if you don't know this movie, or if you unaware what this movie leads to, that movie, that Simpsons moment tells the whole movie right there.
Yeah, it felt weird the way, I don't know. It almost felt like, once again, I was watching something I shouldn't be with this kind of film. Like, you felt creeped out by the whole situation.
You did feel dirty after watching this one. Oh, like, even like what I was going off before is, he's taking photos. He's making duplicates by Nina Yorkin and stuff. So, like, since he is following their whole lives, he has this wall of photos of their family and predominantly her.
Go up. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I get it, like, because there are people that go to restaurants and stuff, and they have a family outside of a family that's not quite family. Less creepy than what he's doing. Like, he is legitimately stealing photos. Like, if someone does, like, off of, again, Twitter or Instagram, people take fucking screenshots of that shit or whatever. It's beyond our knowledge.
Right.
So he's essentially like a creep nowadays.
Yeah.
But he was out there meeting people while being a creep.
Yeah.
So get that, people. If you're doing that shit on Instagram, go out and meet people at least. Be a little bit more creepy to their face.
Yeah.
Or just don't be a fucking creep. But creeps are going to be creep. Creeps be creeping. I can't remember where I came across this term. Or actually, I think he ends up talking about it in the movie, is a snapshot. That's what I was kind of talking about, like, before people take that image, a snapshot. I guess it was a hunting term to begin with. If I think he was saying that when people just kind of, they have that gun and there's a duck, whatever, and you just grab the gun, you aim, shoot, a snapshot, to kill for family. Like, it was a hunting term. So I'm like, all right. So, photos being snapshots, and he's out on the hunt, trying to stalk these people.
Well, you did a good job.
There is also a random scene that I kind of want to talk about that I doubt you would actually remember, because I don't know if it was just my copy that I had or if it was intended this way, because I actually tried looking up this scene and I couldn't find anyone talking about it. It is when they're in the lunchroom with him and his boss, and he's just sitting there eating his lunch, and they kind of do like a little bit of a wide shot, and you see just Robin Williams like start to shake, almost like the film stock started to shake. Not so much as like violently shaking like he was sick. It was just almost think of Fight Club.
Yeah.
That kind of shudder.
Change, yeah.
but it was only his character. It wasn't the whole scene. So I'm like, that was the kind of moment where his personality starts to shift. His boss is starting to yell at him. He's starting to get a little bit more antsy. He's starting to get kind of put off because Mr. Yorkin is being an asshole. You know, it's...
Well, he is an anime nerd, and that's cool. I mean, he's also a Zelda fan, and that's what he named his daughter.
Which his daughter, I want to say, directed and or wrote, but directed Lisa Frankenstein, which I highly recommend that movie.
That's a damn good one.
It is so much fun and enjoyable. Like, I've seen people actually say it, and I was saying it before I seen people say it. So I'm a hipster. Lisa Frankenstein is the next Jennifer's Body. It's a little bit ahead of its time. It kind of bombed, but give it 5-6 more years, people are going to say Lisa Frankenstein is a masterpiece. Yeah. It's a cult classic. Yeah, it's
not what you expect when you walk into it, but I was pleasantly surprised.
And it's a fun, enjoyable movie. It's a movie that I would expect to watch, like Heathers, or something like that. That classic, like almost 80s, early 90s kind of vibe to it. Zelda did an amazing job.
It's a love story. It is. I loved it. I felt like the paparazzi are just professional stalkers. That's what 1 Hour Photo made me think of.
That's all they do.
Just fucking creeps.
Oh,
and man. I can see why everybody's so angry about them or fuck with them so hardcore.
Well, it's like that's what TMZ does. Like they have insiders and all that stuff. Like, oh hey, so and so is at this place, or even some of the stars.
We have professional permission to go by and take these photos, but
or even like with Twitter and all that stuff. Like, oh hey, look where we're at or whatever, and then it's like, oh hey, they're on this street in LA. Let's go fucking find them.
Yeah, that's not fucking weird.
But it's our fault.
Yeah.
And not so much ours and ours. It's your fault. But on why they have to go out and take those photos, because we are hyper fixated on these stars. You know, we want to see how they live their lives. You know, I mean, we are all stalkers in a sense. We just do it in a creepy, perverse way by paying other people to take photos of these celebrities that are celebrities because we make them celebrities.
And buying fucked up tabloids with lies in them.
Oh, man, that is a whole topic. Oh, man, it just makes me feel like Creep from 2014.
A yellow door? No one knows I'm here.
Hi! Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm assuming you're Aaron.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you.
Joseph. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is going to be a good day.
Directed by Patrick Brice and written by Patrick Brice and Mark Duplass.
This is one where the female is not a victim. There's no female in this one.
Kind of technically there is.
I guess
so. Oh my gosh. All right, quick synopsis. Why do I always have an issue with the synopsis? Oh, Aaron. Aaron answers an online ad and drives to a stranger's house to film him for the day. The man wants to make a movie for his unborn child, but his request becomes more bizarre as the day goes along.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like you creeped out the first fucking day of filming. Like, I would not have gone as far as he did.
So that's... I don't know. I think this movie is even better because if you actually look up on IMDb, since they never put photos on the credits and all that stuff. So Aaron and Mark are actually, I don't know if they're friends, but they're the ones filming.
Right.
Aaron is the guy behind the camera. You do see him eventually, and Mark is the creep.
Right.
And stuff. So I mean, I was like, that is kind of awesome. So it is a skeleton crew. Like, it's just them two.
This is the best way to make a cheap film, and I mean, I felt like it came out great. The whole fucking time, I wanted to know more because, you know, at the same time, you'd be like, no, I'd be out, but you're like, go back. I want to know what the fuck else he's gonna do.
At the same time, though, like, I mean, for like, I didn't write down how much money he was making, but you're just watching. You're just filming a guy for the day.
Yeah,
I would probably take it and stuff, and then he gets naked and he wants you to record him being in a bathtub, you know, being
talking
intimate
weird
with a towel,
and
pretending it's a baby and stuff. Like, okay, this is weird, but you know, what have you? I mean, it's like, all right, you're getting paid. It's for a day. No, I say like there is. I want to say it's Katie Aselton. She plays the voice of the sister or the wife. I think it's a sister. When shit starts to go really south really fucking quick.
Oh yeah, it goes south super quick after the first death threat by video.
And that's
it wasn't supposed to be a death threat, but bro, that was a death threat.
They spoil the whole movie, how it ends in the very beginning of the movie as well, because he pulls up to the house and he sees an axe there on the ground.
Yep.
And he goes up to the door, knocks on the door, waits, and all that stuff. And he's like, "Oh, did you think that I was gonna kill you with that axe or something?" And
so, I also like that they brought technology up to date in this movie. They the whole Craigslist hunting. It's like the stalker kind of laid out a trap and then stalked from there on out.
Yeah, like that's the thing. You don't really realize that he's a stalker until halfway, 3/4 of the way in the movie.
Yeah,
and stuff. Because I mean, he does put out the ad and all that stuff and creepy fucking found footage shit. And then after Aaron says, fuck this, I'm done, and he goes back home eventually, he starts to get stalked by Joseph.
Yeah,
Joseph and stuff.
The whole lurking in the background thing, they definitely did a good job at making that creepy.
Dude, so this movie actually, those scenes remind me a lot of the ending scene on Digging Up the Marrow.
All right.
And stuff. Like, I know you probably haven't seen it. Like, a lot of you guys probably haven't seen it, unfortunately. But it is that he breaks into Aaron's house while he's asleep and leaves, like almost like trinkets or just like the disc. Like, hey, watch me.
Kind of films him while he's sleeping.
Stuff. Like, it is so creepy. Name of the movie, it is a creepy ass film.
Oh, yeah. He's great at creep. Like, even when he's just being himself, he came off as a weirdo.
That's why I don't go out in public and have people film me. I film myself, and I film him. Guess what I do with it afterwards?
Creep. Creep.
No, not as creepy as he was with his Peach Fuzz mask. I don't. I freaking love it. They needed this scene so freaking bad because of how creepy it is. But it's so creepy you end up laughing because of your discomfort, where he just puts on. Where he puts on the mask and he just barricades a door and just starts dancing so he won't leave.
Why? Are you just trying to scare me? Or... Okay, well, I'm terrified, okay? You won. Now, will you just please step aside and let me go? Stop. Stop it. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
It is...
Oh my god. Oh, I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did. It's one of those ones I did not have a problem rewatching. I thought it was, like you said, it was funny and creepy all at the same time.
I hate how long it took me to actually watch this movie. It took someone else to tell me, like, hey, you got to watch this movie. And thank you if she is watching. Like, I appreciate the fuck out of her for making me watch this movie. Because this is probably going to be at least one of my annual rewatches now.
Yeah. The second one's, the second one's just as good, but the first one, it doesn't hold a candle to the first one. I mean,
well, they're making a third one too.
They're making a third?
Yeah, I don't know if it's in pre-production or if it's in production, but it is part of a trilogy.
Oh shit!
And you can also tell that this isn't his first time stalking either, because like, it is a spoiler. Skip 20-30 seconds ahead. Whatever. You're not going to skip ahead. We know you're not going to skip ahead. But skip ahead now. But he has a lot more of the footage that in his closet of all the other kills that he's committed, all the other ones that he stalked.
It was like VHS. Got just a collection of fucked up videos.
All the different names and stuff. So he knows what he's doing. Like, he'd be like a great... I guess technically he is a serial killer.
Yeah. And I like the jump scares especially. You know, the ending was one of my favorites. I feel like the ending was just...
Are you talking about the kill?
The kill, the jump scare,
Oh,
all that shit going on at the end. I don't know. I just felt like it was creepy. It was weird that it happened in a place you didn't think it was going to happen.
The park?
Yeah, it felt like that was too public and open. You know what I mean?
That's why I kind of thought, like, there's no... like, he's going to kill him here, but, like, they're not... It's out in the open.
It wasn't even quiet about it. I mean, it was a big fucking axe swinging at a motherfucker's head. Like, you can't hide that. And he did it in the middle of a fucking park on a bench.
honestly, Aaron deserved it.
Why? That's what you get for going back for more and then turning your back.
That's
like
what
you
I mean.
put your back to the lake. Don't face the damn lake, man.
It's like, yeah, you know you're being followed by a creep. You are being stalked.
Yeah.
And you go sit there for 5 minutes just staring at the lake, not looking behind you that often. And all of a sudden, you got a splitting fucking headache.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just...
It was one of those moments where I'm yelling at the screen like, you're an idiot. Why are you
Like,
doing
look
that? What are
behind-
you doing? Oh, whatever.
Which that's the thing. That's what makes this movie so great is very few movies gets you animated. It gets you that, God damn it, just look behind you.
Yeah.
Some of them is like, oh, you look behind you, look behind you. Like this one, you're just like, oh. You end up falling in love with these characters. Even Joseph, you fall in love with him because of how much of a lovable creep he is.
Super creepy, though.
Like he's not a bad creep until he becomes bad.
It felt like he was bad from the get-go, but, I don't usually just get naked in front of a camera.
I watch a lot of weird shit, man.
It's the fact that he knows the way that he did it. So
some of the stuff I follow on Instagram, like that stuff's not like that beginning stuff is not that creepy, because it's like people are doing so much more random shit, like on the interwebs. I'm not watching other dudes take baths. I do that to my neighbors. No, I'm joking. There's no windows in their bathrooms. I don't know. I can't wait to watch the second one. I have yet to see it.
It's fucking great. Only I found myself rooting for the bad guy more in the second one. It's like I felt like, well, another idiot's coming along. Fucking go for it.
I think that's what it kind of goes with, like when you have killer sequels. Is you start rooting for the killer and not so much the victim anymore. You want the victim to fight, but you don't want them to win, because it's never fun when Jason loses and he's gone forever. You want to see him die, but you also want to see him come back.
Yep.
You want to see Freddy Krueger die, but you want to see him come back.
And even he said, he's like, fuck it, I'll find a way to come back. You can't keep me down.
Oh, man.
And that's how it felt like with most of the serial killers. But in this one, when he's dead, he's dead. So how is he going to get caught?
Maybe.
When is he going to get caught?
I mean, I always kind of look back at Man Behind the Mask. That I can't remember the name of the first name. Leslie Nielsen or Leslie Vernon, Behind the Mask.
All right.
And stuff where it is a more of a found footage, where this almost newscast. Like think of like the Blair Witch Project, and they're following a serial killer.
That one was fucking hilarious.
And stuff. So that's I imagine that's what Joseph would be.
Yeah.
I feel like he would die but come back like, oh, that wasn't me. It was peach fuzz. Right. Or he burns. That's probably. All right, I'm gonna say it right here. Number 3, he dies in the peach fuzz outfit. It gets glued to his head, and he starts killing as peach fuzz now.
He's just peach fuzz from now on.
Yeah.
That plastic just fuses to his skin.
He is now a what are they called? Fuzzies?
Furry?
Furries.
He's a furry.
I fucked up my whole creep aspect. I couldn't remember what furry.
Bring a whole new level of fucked up to that film.
It would make it pretty good, though.
Just walk around with the tail on him.
Granted, some of those furry movies that are on Tubi right now are the one. I'm not even going to mention the name because 1, I can't remember it. But 2, it was not a good fucking movie. I usually love a lot of movies, or at least not like movies. That movie was just...
Boo.
I'd rather watch Without Warning again. At least Without Warning, I had a story to it.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that someone is following me. I feel like there's someone right behind me looking out my window, looking at me through my window. And, oh, holy shit, it's Bridget!
Fucking Bridget!
All right. Peace out.
Take it easy.